All right, so this is notes on quadratic applications. So this is using the quadratic formula to answer word problems. So there's only 2 problems to do, okay? And if you know the quadratic formula, they are pretty easy. You also have to make sure you know what I'm asking you for. If I'm asking you for x, you use the quadratic formula, right? If I'm asking you for y, then you're not going to use the quadratic formula. You'll see why in just a moment. Okay, so number 1 says George hits a golf ball that is teed up. The equation that models the height in feet of the ball over a horizontal distance is given in feet is given by the equation y equals negative 0.0006x squared plus 0.431x plus 0.25, where x is the horizontal distance in feet and y is the height. So this is the distance the ball's traveling, right? That's the horizontal distance. That's x. So I'm going to label it horizontal distance feet, and that's x. And then this is the height of the ball, y. Okay. How high was the ball 80 feet away from the tee? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I need to know, was I given x in solving for y, or was I given y in solving for x? That's what I have to figure out first. It says how high was the ball. That's the height. I'm looking for y, right? When the ball is 80 feet from the tee, okay, so that is x. That's the horizontal distance. It's 80 feet from there, right? So I want to know, basically, George hits the ball and it's like whoosh, so on and so forth. And I don't know where it's going to fall, so I don't want to finish my parabola there. But let's say this is 80 feet. I want to know what's that point right there. So I know it's x is 80, right? So if I know x is 80, I can just plug in 80 for x. Y equals negative 0.0006 times 80 squared plus 0.431 times 80 plus 0.25. So you can clearly see you need a calculator for this. Also, please make sure you don't memorize like, oh, the first problem you plug in x. You plug in the number for x. And the second problem you do this. We're gonna mix them up through as we go. Okay, so pay attention, do what I'm doing up here and labeling, okay, what was I given? What am I finding? Okay, now I'm ready to use my calculator to get this. So I'm gonna do negative 0.0006 parentheses 80, close it, square it. The square button is, if you see the button that says LOG, it's right above that. And then I have plus 0.431 parentheses 80, close it, plus 0.25, enter. And I get 30.89. So round to the nearest hundredth. I don't have to because that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to put, ooh, that's highlighter. How far or how high was the ball? It was 30.89 feet high. Okay, doesn't ask me to explain it, but if I needed to, I can say after the ball moved 80 feet horizontally, it was 30.89 feet vertically. That works. Next question, how far away does the ball land? Will it land without rolling? On the putting green, round to the nearest hundredth. So how far away? X, question mark, right? I'm looking for X. Does the ball land? What is the height of the ball when the ball lands? This is when y is 0, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make y 0, and we're going to solve for x. So I have 0 equals negative 0.0006 x squared plus 0.431x plus 0.25, and I have to solve that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you not ask you, there's no one here. There's people listening to it, but I want you to think about a few things. So first off, can I solve this by square rooting? The answer is no, because there's an x squared and an x, right? So then I say, can I solve it by factoring? And it's like, I don't want to, even if I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So my quadratic formula, recall, I'll write it over here. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I like to put parentheses around a, c, and this b right here so the square's not in there. Now that looks sloppy, but I know it by heart too. Okay, so I'm going to do x equals. I'm going to label what A, B, and C are so I don't accidentally make a mistake. A is this, B is this, C is this. All right, things that I've seen people make mistakes in the past, they'll forget like one of these zeros or only put 2, or they'll put 4, or they'll forget the point here when they put it in their calculator. So just be careful of all of those things. So I'm going to do x equals the opposite of 0.431 is negative 0.431. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root of, I need b squared, so I'm going to put in there 0.431 squared, minus 4 times a, I'm going to plug in a, don't forget the negative, 0.0006 times c, which is 0.25, all over, come on, oh, come on. There we go. All over, so notice I'm going from the negative and the negative 0.43 all the way to that. Okay, don't put the equal sign in the fraction though. 2 times a, 2 times negative 0.0006. Okay, so when we were doing the quadratic formula on ones that weren't all these decimals, there are steps that I told you to do to be successful. There's steps on this to be successful too. They're actually easier. What you're going to do is you're going to put all of this in your calculator. Notice it's what's underneath the square root, and you're going to get a new number. And then you're going to put this in your calculator, and you're going to get a new number. Okay? So if you watch what I'm about to write, x equals negative 0.431 plus or minus the square root of, I'm going to get a new number underneath there. I'm not sure how big it is, so I'll give it about that much room, over, and then I'll have a new number there. Okay? You don't have to put this number and then these 3. The reason I taught you to do that on the regular quadratic formula is because I know that when you get to Algebra 2 with trig, when you get to pre-calc, we have you do it without a calculator. So this one wouldn't be with a calculator. I'm just saying those ones that we were doing in class before, it's all no calculator in pre-calc and in Algebra 2. So I want to prepare you for knowing how to do it without one. Okay. So I have a calculator though, so let's do this. So I'm going to do parentheses. Don't put square root. I'm just doing underneath it. So 0.431, close it, square it, minus 4, open a parentheses, negative 0.0006, close a parentheses, open a parentheses, 0.25, close it, enter. Then I'm going to write all of those numbers underneath there. 0.186,361. Okay, I also have to do 2 parentheses negative 0.0006, close it, enter. That is negative 0.0012. Okay, so now I'm ready to get my 2 answers. So let's remind ourselves how to get our 2 answers. That's a little dark. I'll do red. Okay, so you're going to do negative 0.431, plus this whole thing, enter, divided by this. Okay, so let's do that. Negative 0.431 plus square root of 0.186361. Enter. Okay, now you're not going to write that down. That's not your answer. I'm going to do divided by negative 0.0012. Notice I just leave it and I keep typing and it'll divide that last answer by it. All right, so my first answer is, what does it say to round to nearest hundredth? Sure does. So I'm going to do negative 0.58. Okay, now I'm going to get my other answer. How am I getting my other answer? I'll use purple for this. I'm going to do negative 0.431 minus this, enter, divided by this. Okay, let me try that. Negative 0.431 minus square root 0.186361, enter, divided by negative 0.0012, enter. And I got 718.91. Okay, so now let's find our answer. So I want to know when the ball hits the ground. Can it hit the ground at negative 0.58 feet? No. What the heck did that just find? If you look, this ball right here it is right there. It's hit like this, right? And then it's going to land at 718 feet, which is about here, right here. It's just going to whoop, like that, okay? So this is where the negative one is. That's not the one that they're talking about. So what you're not going to erase it. You're just going to cross it off because that's not part of your answer. This is your answer in feet because it told us it's in feet. The ball will land at 718.91 feet. Now, also what I want you to realize is it also asks you a follow-up question. Will it land on the putting green? So if you look, 718 feet is right here. So and the putting green is right here. So no, it will not land on the green. Sad face. Okay, next one. Same idea, little different. Little different situation, but same idea. Okay, so it says Chipper is attempting to throw a ball to his friend. The equation that models the height in feet of the ball over the horizontal distance is in feet is given by the equation y equals negative 0.006x squared. So notice this doesn't have 3 zeros. Just be careful when you're writing these numbers. Plus 0.481x plus 6, where x is the horizontal distance in feet and y is the height in feet. So this is, once again, horizontal distance in feet, and that's x. And this is the height, y, and they're both in feet. Okay. All right, so if you notice here, here's the ball right here, right? So he's going to take and it's going to go whoosh. So I don't know if it falls into this young man's hands or if it drops before him or behind him, whatever. But also notice right here, if it goes this way, is that it is going to have another negative value that I'm going to get, right? So I'm going to have one negative, one positive. My answer is my positive when it comes to that question. Now I don't know which one's question's first, which one's second. Let's see. A says let x equal 60. Well, that's pretty straightforward, right? We're going to plug in 60 for x. Find the value of y. That's very straightforward. But the reason why is because if you notice, it's asking us, what does this point mean in the context of the problem? So once you know you get 60 comma whatever, what does that mean? Okay, so let's plug in 60 for x. Y equals, I have negative 0.006 parentheses. That's 80, no, I'm thinking of the last problem already. 60 squared. Plus 0.481 times 60. Oops. 60 plus 6. All right, I'm going to type this in my calculator here. So I have negative 0.006, open parentheses, 60, close it, square it. Don't forget the square. That's the most common mistake I saw on the test is people forgetting to put the square last year I'm telling you about. Yeah, I remember. Because they all got the same wrong answer, right? So I was like, what are these people doing? And then I figured it out there, forgetting the square. 13.26. So y equals 13. I shouldn't be writing it so big. Y equals 13.26. That's rounded to the nearest hundredth, so that's good. Feet. Okay, so now it says, what does this point mean in the context? The point I'm talking about is the x value 60, 13.26. So let's say that's right here. Let's say 60 is right here. This is this point right here. What does that mean? The 60 is the horizontal distance. It's the x value. 13.26 is the height. So I'm going to say after the ball travels 60 feet, it is 13.26 feet off the ground. And those are my words. If you change it a little bit, still means what mine means, then you're good. All right, last one. How far did he throw the ball? If his friend does not move, okay, so this, I called that a young man, but I guess I judged too quickly. If his friend doesn't move, will she be able to catch it? Okay, so once again, we have to make up these problems here so that you can't be like, well, if she slides, well, that's not what we're talking about here. If she doesn't move, she just stands there like how she's standing there, is she going to catch it? okay? So to think about this, we have to know where is the ball going to hit the ground, right? So if the ball hits the ground at 90 feet, that's right here, let's say, she's not going to catch it. If it does 110, she's not going to catch it. So basically, I want to know, is it within her 100 feet there that she can catch it, okay? Because she's 100 feet away. So we need to find out where it hits the ground, right? So how far did he throw it? How far is X? Question mark. Question mark. Did he throw the ball? That is, where is it going to hit the ground? So that's where Y is equal to 0. Okay, so let's figure out what that is. All right, so I'm going to do 0 equals negative 0.006x squared plus 0.481x plus 6. Okay, Pythagorean Theorem. X equals the opposite of b, so negative 0.481 plus or minus the square root of, I know that's going to have to be longer, so I might as well make it longer now. I need to put b in here, so 0.481 squared minus 4, and then I need a, which is negative 0.006, times c, which is just 6, all over 2 times a, which is negative 0.006. Now remember, when all these decimals are in here, I'm going to go ahead and put this, everything underneath in my calculator, everything here in my calculator, so I can get a new, 2 new numbers there. X equals negative 0.481 plus or minus the square root of all over what? Okay, so calculator, I'm going to do parentheses, 0.481, close parentheses, square, minus 4, open parentheses, negative 0.006, close it, open a new one, 6, close it, enter. I'll write that number down, 0.375361. I'm going to do 2 parentheses, negative 0.006, oops, I missed a 0, enter, and I get negative 0.012. All right, so now I'm going to get my 2 answers, x equals. I'm going to first do negative 0.481 plus this, enter. So negative 0.481 plus square root of 0.375361, enter, divided by negative 0.012, enter. And I got negative 10.97. Okay, that's not going to be an answer because that's this one over here, right? That's the parabolas, the quadratics, other x-intercept. All right, now, and it's not always the second one, so please don't just be like, I'm not going to do the first one. Okay, do the next one. I'm going to do this, negative 0.481 minus square root of 0.375. Oops, I forgot my point. Insert point. Could have just retyped it. Okay, 0.3753. Oops, now I'm not underneath there. 361. Delete. Okay, does that look right? No. Oh, it's because I hit negative instead of point. Delete. There we go. 0.481 minus that. Enter. Divided by negative 0.012. Enter. And I got 91. Oh my goodness. 91.14. And then this said it was in feet. So my answer is 91.14 feet. Did they ask me a follow-up question? Oh, if his friend does not move, will she be able to catch it? She's at 100 feet. Will she be able to catch it? No, she will not. So no, she will not catch it. Sad face. All right, that's it for the quadratic application.